In the vibrant tech hub of Bangalore in 2026, Advik sat at his desk, the morning sun glinting off the sleek glass of his office. His startup, Vedatech, had just moved from a concept to a tangible reality, producing sustainable hardware that was gaining traction. He looked at his first quarterly projections, realizing that the transition from a small-scale hobby to a professional enterprise was happening faster than he had ever imagined. As the orders began to roll in from across the country, Advik knew he had to address the pillar of Indian commerce, the goods and services tax. In 2026, the digital economy was more integrated than ever, and compliance was no longer a hurdle but a badge of professional credibility. He understood that to scale his vision, he needed to navigate the specific legal triggers that would turn his business into a fully registered entity under the national tax framework. To ensure he stayed on the right side of the law, Advik met with Elara, a veteran tax consultant known for her expertise in the evolving regulations of the mid-2020s. They sat in a quiet, modern lounge filled with soft light. "The first thing you must monitor," Elara explained, opening a slim digital tablet, "is your aggregate turnover. It is the total value of all your taxable and exempt supplies across all your business branches." Elara tapped a specific figure on the screen, the light reflecting in her eyes. For a business primarily involved in the supply of goods, like Vedatech, the general threshold is 40 lakh rupees, she noted. Once your annual turnover crosses this mark, GST registration becomes a mandatory legal requirement. It is the government's way of acknowledging that your business has reached a significant and sustainable scale. Advik stood up and walked over to a map of India on the wall, considering his expansion plans for the coming year. "But the threshold isn't universal for everyone, is it?" he asked. Elara explained that for service providers, the limit was 20 lakh rupees. Furthermore, in special category states, such as those in the Northeast, the threshold could be as low as 10 lakh rupees to account for regional economic scales. "Thresholds are only one part of the story," Elara continued, her tone becoming more serious as she joined him by the window. "There are scenarios where the turnover doesn't matter at all." She explained that if Advik decided to sell his products to a customer in another state, an interstate supply, he would need mandatory registration from the very first sale, regardless of whether his total income was 1 rupee or 1 crore. The conversation shifted toward the vast potential of the digital marketplace. Elara reminded Advik that if he chose to sell through an e-commerce platform, the electronic commerce operator rules would apply immediately. In the 2026 landscape, the transparency of digital platforms meant that any seller utilizing these giants had to be registered under GST to ensure seamless tax collection and consumer trust. "And what if I just want to test the waters at a tech trade fair in Mumbai?" Advik asked, curious about temporary ventures. Elara explained the concept of a quote, casual taxable person. For a business owner who occasionally undertakes transactions in a state where they have no fixed place of business, a temporary registration is required at least 5 days before the business commences. Empowered by Elara's guidance, Advik returned to his desk to begin the application. The 2026 GST portal was a marvel of efficiency and user-centered design. Using his PAN, Aadhaar-based biometrics, and digital business proofs, he navigated the forms with ease. The process was entirely paperless, reflecting the speed and sophistication of the modern Indian economy. Within days, Advik received his GST identification number via a secure notification. He felt a surge of pride. He was now a formal, recognized part of the national economy. Meeting Elara one last time to share the news, he realized that compliance wasn't a burden, but the very foundation of his future growth. With his registration in hand, the entirety of India was now his marketplace.